Hello, my friends. This week we're jumping into another parable as told by Jesus. If you'll recall, a parable is a story with a hidden message. Not really hidden, just below the surface, but you get the idea. Remember the story we told last week about Jesus giving the story of the lost sheep? Well, this just occurs just a few moments later, and Jesus is telling another parable. This time, not a sheep, but a lost son. There once was a father that had 2 sons, and one day the younger son said to his father,
"Father, may I have my inheritance?"
So the father thought about it, and he decided the sons could have the money, so he split it evenly between the 2 of them.
"All right, my sons. I've thought about this long and hard. Half of my inheritance for you, and the other half for you. Don't go spending it all in one place, my boys. May I recommend a growth stock mutual fund at 18% return? The markets have never looked better."
But very soon after the younger son got his share, he decided he was going to go travel the world and spend his money. He left a big farm with lots of hired men that would provide everything that he needed. He left his family. But most importantly, he left his father, who trusted him enough to give him the money. And it didn't take long for the son who was gone to spend his entire share of the money. He didn't think to save any of it, not a single penny. In fact, if he was living in today's time, it'd be the same as him eating out at fancy steakhouses for every meal, buying fancy cars with big loud engines, or throwing wild parties. But this lifestyle can't last forever, and the well was running a bit dry. After he had spent all of his money, the country he was living in became very, very poor, and he couldn't find anything to eat because they were in the midst of a famine. The son was in trouble. He didn't have a penny to his name, he had nothing to eat, nowhere to sleep, no place to live. So he had to get a job. I didn't know that the steak I had for lunch would be my last. I would have savored it a whole lot longer. I don't see any places hiring. Uh-oh. I'm in what they call a pickle. The only job he could find was feeding the pigs, and he was so hungry that he almost resolved to eating the mush that the pigs were eating. But he decided not to. That night, as the son was walking home, his stomach wouldn't stop growling. He was so hungry. Then, he realized something. You know, when I lived with my father, even the hired men had plenty to eat, more than they needed. And here I am starving to death. I think I'm gonna walk home. So the younger son decided that he would return to his father's house and say to him, "Okay, we're only gonna have one shot at this. What am I gonna say? Father, I have sinned against you and God. I don't deserve to be called your son, so hire me and I'll work for you." So he set off for home, and when he was still a long distance away from his destination, he could see someone off in the distance running towards him. See someone way out there. He's coming at me kind of fast. Who would be excited to see me right now? They've got to be expecting someone else. And as the person got closer, he realized that it was his father calling out to him.
"Oh, my son, my boy! You've returned home! Bring it in! Bring it in!"
Just like I practiced. "Father, I've sinned against you and God. I don't deserve to be called your son, so..." The son wanted to continue, but the father, almost interrupting him, said to one of his servants,
"Quick! Find the best robe to put on my boy here! Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet! Fetch the largest calf to be killed! Let's throw a party! We're celebrating! My boy is home!
A little while later, the older son was working in a field and he could hear music and dancing. So he called to one of the servants and said, "What's going on over there?" The servant replied, saying, "Your brother has returned, and your father has thrown a party to celebrate his return." Well, this upset the older brother. He refused to go and join the party. And the father learned that his older son was upset. And he went into him and he asked,
Come to the party, my boy. Come on inside and have a nice kebab.
The older brother replied, "I'm not going to the party. Look, I've worked with you for all of these years, and I've never disobeyed you once. You've never thrown a party for me and my friends to celebrate. But now that my brother comes home after spending all of the money that you gave him, you killed the biggest calf for him."
But my son, you've stood by me all of these years, and everything I have is also yours. But your brother was lost. He has come home, and our family is whole again. That is why we are celebrating.
What a wonderful story. But what's the meaning behind it? Oftentimes you read the story and we identify with the younger son, and we put the father as the role of God. But that would mean that this story is all about forgiveness. When actually there's another way to look at this. The younger son left home and it left a hole in the family. It wasn't complete. And then when the younger son returned and they threw a great big party celebrating his return, the older son wouldn't join in. Once again causing the same problem, an incomplete, an unwhole family. And without wholeness, there is no peace. Maybe you have fought with your siblings or someone else in your life. Or maybe you're just taking a look around at the world that's acting a little crazier than normal, and it feels like we're all missing something. Maybe missing each other, maybe missing something larger, but either way, we aren't feeling whole, which means we're looking for that peace right now. And someday soon, hopefully soon, we'll all get together and have one great big celebration. But until we can actually do that, we can start to build that peace together right now. And we don't have to wait for someone to apologize for this. We can welcome them home right now. And as we do that, we are building towards that wholeness and that new peace. Well, until next time, when we begin our next fun story. Until then, be kind, do good, and love your neighbors. Bye-bye. Ugly. No!